In the vast tapestry of Chinese history, few periods stand out like the Song Dynasty, a time of unparalleled innovation where the seeds of modernity were sown and a cultural renaissance flourished. Spanning from 960 to 1279 AD, the Song Dynasty was a beacon of progress in a world often overshadowed by conflict and chaos. Born out of the chaos of the 5 dynasties and 10 kingdoms period, the Song Dynasty was founded by Zhao Guangyin, later known as Emperor Taizu. With a vision of a unified and prosperous China, Taizu laid the foundations for an empire that would last over 3 centuries, shaping the course of Chinese history in ways that still resonate today. In this documentary, we will explore the rise and fall of the Song Dynasty, the key figures who shaped its course, the monumental works that defined its culture, and the far-reaching influence this era had on the world. From the heights of intellectual achievement to the depths of military defeat, the story of the Song Dynasty is one of contrasts and contradictions, but above all, it is a story of enduring legacy. Join us as we journey through the centuries to uncover the remarkable story of the Song Dynasty, an era of innovation, influence, and enduring impact on the world stage. The rise of the Song Dynasty. The Song Dynasty was born out of a time of great turmoil and fragmentation known as the 5 dynasties and 10 kingdoms period. China, once united under the Tang Dynasty, had fallen into chaos, with warlords and regional powers vying for control. Amidst this turmoil, a military general named Zhao Guangyin emerged, destined to reshape the future of China. In 960 AD, Zhao Guangyin, a talented military commander, was proclaimed emperor by his troops in what would later be known as the Chen Bridge Mutiny. Taking the throne as Emperor Taizu, he swiftly moved to consolidate his power and reunify the fractured Chinese states. Taizu's vision was not just of military conquest, but of a stable and prosperous empire built on the principles of good governance and cultural revival. Taizu's reign was marked by his efforts to bring stability to the land. He implemented policies to reduce the power of the military aristocracy, placing more emphasis on civil administration and meritocratic governance. The establishment of the civil service examination system became a cornerstone of his rule, ensuring that government positions were filled based on ability rather than noble birth. It was a radical shift from the military-dominated rule of previous dynasties, and it laid the groundwork for a stable, centralized bureaucracy that would govern the empire for centuries. However, the Song Dynasty's military strategies were shaped by both necessity and pragmatism. The Song emperors recognized the limitations of their military forces, especially in the face of powerful northern neighbors like the Khitan Liao and later the Yurshin Jin. Rather than pursuing a strategy of outright military conquest, the Song rulers often relied on diplomacy, strategic alliances, and the development of advanced military technology to defend their borders. The Song dynasty saw significant advancements in military technology, including the early use of gunpowder in warfare. While these innovations provided a defensive edge, they were not always enough to secure the empire's borders. The Song's reliance on diplomacy and tribute payments to maintain peace with their northern neighbors would later become a point of vulnerability. Emperor Taizu's vision for a unified and prosperous China was carried forward by his successors, most notably his younger brother, Zhao Guangyi, who took the throne as Emperor Taizong. Taizong continued his brother's work, further consolidating the empire and expanding its influence. Emperor Taizong's reign was marked by continued efforts to strengthen the empire, both militarily and administratively. He oversaw the expansion of the Song's territory, bringing more regions under central control. However, his reign was also marked by military challenges, including the failed campaigns against the Khitan Liao, which highlighted the limitations of the Song military despite its technological advances. The early Song emperors laid the foundations for what would become one of the most prosperous and culturally vibrant periods in Chinese history. Their focus on governance, cultural development, and technological innovation would define the Song dynasty and leave an indelible mark on Chinese civilization. Cultural and intellectual flourishing. As the Song dynasty entered its golden age, China witnessed a cultural renaissance that would influence not only the empire itself, but also the world beyond its borders. The Song period was characterized by a flourishing of arts, literature, and intellectual thought, much of which was driven by the resurgence of Confucianism in a new form known as Neo-Confucianism. Neo-Confucianism, which emerged as a response to the dominance of Buddhism and Taoism in earlier periods, sought to harmonize the teachings of Confucius with metaphysical ideas. It became the dominant philosophical school during the Song Dynasty, shaping not only the intellectual landscape but also the political and social structures of the time. Central figures like Zhu Xi and Cheng Yi played pivotal roles in developing and disseminating Neo-Confucian thought. The Song Dynasty was also a time of remarkable literary and artistic achievement. Poetry, which had long been a revered art form in China, reached new heights during the Song period. Poets like Su Shi, also known as Su Dongpo, became celebrated for their mastery of both form and content. Su Shi's works, known for their emotional depth and philosophical insights, remain some of the most cherished in Chinese literature. Song artists, too, made significant contributions to the cultural legacy of the dynasty. Landscape painting, in particular, became a dominant genre, with artists like Fan Quan and Guo Xi leading the way. Their works, characterized by intricate brushwork and a deep appreciation for the natural world, captured the spiritual and philosophical ideas of the time, reflecting the harmonious relationship between humanity and nature. One of the most significant innovations of the Song Dynasty was the invention of movable type printing by Bi Sheng around 1040 AD. This groundbreaking technology transformed the way information was disseminated, making books more accessible and education more widespread. The impact of movable type printing would later extend far beyond China, influencing the development of printing technology in Europe centuries later. The Song Dynasty also saw remarkable advancements in navigation, with the development and widespread use of the magnetic compass. This innovation revolutionized sea travel, enabling Chinese merchants to navigate the vast waters of the South China Sea and beyond with greater accuracy. The compass not only facilitated domestic trade, but also connected China with distant lands, fostering cultural and economic exchanges that enriched the empire. In agriculture, the Song Dynasty introduced new methods and crops that significantly increased food production. The widespread adoption of early ripening rice, originally from Southeast Asia, allowed for multiple harvests each year. This agricultural innovation led to population growth and urbanization, as surplus food enabled the rise of large cities and a thriving economy. The economic landscape of the Song Dynasty was equally dynamic. The introduction of paper money, known as jiaozi, revolutionized trade and commerce. This early form of currency facilitated larger and more complex transactions, contributing to the expansion of a market economy and the rise of a wealthy merchant class. The bustling markets of cities like Kaifeng and Hangzhou became hubs of commerce, attracting traders from across Asia and the Middle East. Urbanization during the Song Dynasty led to the growth of vibrant cities, where culture, commerce, and innovation thrived. Kaifeng, the capital during the Northern Song, and later Hangzhou in the Southern Song, were among the most populous and sophisticated cities in the world at the time. These urban centers were not only economic powerhouses, but also cultural beacons, where art, literature, and intellectual life flourished. The cultural and intellectual achievements of the Song Dynasty set a high standard for the rest of the world. The innovations in technology, the flourishing of the arts, and the profound philosophical developments of this period would continue to influence China and beyond for centuries. Challenges and the decline of the Song Dynasty. Despite its cultural and technological achievements, the Song Dynasty faced significant military challenges throughout its existence. The empire was surrounded by powerful neighbors, including the Khitan Liao in the northeast, the Western Xia in the northwest, and the Jurchen Jin in the north. These neighbors, each with their own ambitions, posed continuous threats to the Song's territorial integrity. The Song Dynasty's military strategies, while innovative, were not always successful in repelling these external threats. The Song army, despite advancements such as the use of gunpowder in warfare, often found itself on the defensive. The most significant military conflict came in the early 12th century when the Jurchen Jin, a powerful nomadic group, invaded the Song territories, leading to the loss of the northern half of the empire. In 1127, the Jurchen Jin captured the Song capital of Kaifeng in an event known as the Jingkang Incident. This devastating defeat forced the Song court to flee south, where they established a new capital in Hangzhou, marking the beginning of the Southern Song period. The challenges faced by the Song dynasty were not only external but also internal. The Song court was often divided by factional struggles between reformers and conservatives. These internal conflicts weakened the central government's ability to respond effectively to external threats and contributed to the eventual decline of the dynasty. The Song dynasty's economy, while robust in many ways, also faced significant strain. The cost of maintaining a large military, coupled with the need to pay tribute to powerful neighbors like the Jin, placed a heavy burden on the empire's finances. High taxes and military expenditures led to economic hardship for many of the empire's citizens, particularly in rural areas where agricultural production was essential to the empire's prosperity. The final blow to the Song dynasty came in the 13th century with the rise of the Mongols under Genghis Khan and his descendants. The Mongol Empire, which had already conquered vast territories across Asia and Europe, turned its attention to the southern Song. Under the leadership of Kublai Khan, the Mongols launched a series of invasions that would ultimately bring an end to the Song dynasty. One of the most significant battles during this period was the Siege of Xiangyang, which lasted from 1267 to 1273. The fall of Xiangyang opened the way for the Mongols to advance further into Song territory, culminating in the capture of Hangzhou in 1276. Despite desperate resistance, the last remnants of the Song court were defeated in 1279 at the Battle of Yamen, marking the end of the dynasty and the beginning of Mongol rule under the Yuan dynasty. The fall of the Song dynasty was a tragic end to one of China's most culturally and technologically advanced periods. Yet, even in defeat, the Song legacy endured, leaving an indelible mark on Chinese history and influencing the world in profound ways. The legacy of the Song dynasty. The legacy of the Song dynasty can be seen in the cultural, technological, and intellectual advancements that continued to shape China long after the dynasty's fall. The Song period's contributions to Chinese art, particularly in landscape painting and calligraphy, set standards that were emulated by subsequent dynasties, including the Yuan, Ming, and Qing. The architectural and urban planning innovations of the Song dynasty also left a lasting impact. The layout of cities like Kaifeng and Hangzhou, with their intricate waterways and bustling markets, served as models for later Chinese cities and influenced urban development in neighboring regions such as Japan and Korea. Beyond China, the Song dynasty's influence extended to the wider world through trade, cultural exchange, and the spread of technology. The maritime trade routes established during the Song period connected China with distant lands, including Southeast Asia, India, the Middle East, and even Africa. Chinese goods, such as silk, porcelain, and tea, became highly sought-after commodities in global markets. The innovations of the Song dynasty, particularly in printing technology, also had a far-reaching impact. Movable type printing, developed during the Song period, eventually spread to the Islamic world and Europe, where it played a crucial role in the dissemination of knowledge and the development of the printing press. This technological transfer helped to fuel the Renaissance and the scientific revolution in Europe. The story of the Song dynasty is one of contrasts and contradictions, of great triumphs and tragic defeats, of extraordinary creativity and profound challenges. But above all, it is a story of a people who, despite the odds, left an indelible mark on history. As the great Song poet Su Shi once wrote, "The waves of the Yangtze River flow endlessly, carrying away the heroes of old. Yet the waters of wisdom and virtue will flow forever, nourishing the land and its people." The legacy of the Song dynasty flows through history, a river of knowledge and innovation that will continue to inspire generations to come.